Hello and welcome back to the Daily Refresh. I know that I am late on posting this one, but I didn't want to not post it. So, the scripture for yesterday, June 22nd, was Hebrews, and it was from chapter 4, verse 10. And it says, anyone who enters God's rest also rests from their works, just as God did from his. So it's looking like there's still this continual theme of rest, observing the Sabbath and keeping it holy and making sure that we are taking that rest, that gift that God has given us. So today or yesterday's theme continued that trend, and the devotional from the YouVersion Bible app is called Call to Contentment. And it says, observing Sabbath rest allows us to step into the same rhythm God established in creating the world. Scripture tells us when God rested from his work, it was because his work was complete. And that's from Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. God took joy in his accomplishment. And I'm sure when you reach a milestone or you complete an accomplishment, you have a sense of joy, a sense of happiness or contentment. And with that sense of accomplishment, sense of achievement, it's almost as if like a rest is warranted. It's like congratulatory for that accomplishment. It's like, kudos to you for making that achievement. In Hebrews chapter 4, verse 10, the writer draws a parallel between God's rest and ours. For anyone who enters God's rest also rests from their works, just as God did from his. We're invited to delight in his presence and share in God's divine contentment. When you just think about, what makes God content, what makes God happy, and to know that we can share in that contentment, I think that's something that's so inspiring and motivating to get to a place where we can share in that contentment that God has. This rest isn't about taking a break from good works. It's about surrendering the need to control by trusting in the completeness of God's work. So when you're resting, you can still do good things. You can still be good to people, even while you're resting. So that doesn't mean that, you can take a break from treating people in the right way. It's just, like I said, kind of being comfortable with letting go and letting God, have his full way, trusting in the process, trusting in God and what he's able to achieve in your life. Our rest releases us from the burden of proving ourselves good enough to earn his love and approval. These things have been secured through Jesus' finished work on the cross. When we step into this rhythm of rest, can we find contentment that spills over into every part of our lives? So, as you know, like there's nothing we can do to earn God's love. It's because he loves us that he has done all the things and, even sacrificed his, only begotten son for us. That sacrifice was for our salvation, and just knowing like there's no way to work enough, be good enough, do enough good works to earn his love. It's agape love. It's unconditional. He gives it freely. And because of what Jesus did on the cross, we're able to have this communion and this relationship with God. And with this contentment that it's talking about, this should be able to go into all of our life. Not, as we're reading the Bible, as we're going to church, as we're going to work, as we're with our family. Like that contentment should just ooze throughout all of our parts of life. Is God calling you to stop trying to do everything on your own and instead find peace in Jesus' finished work on the cross? Lay down your burdens, not out of laziness, but surrender. Believe that the one who made the world also takes care of you. So I think once we understand that this rest and this laying down of burdens is not because we are lazy, and because no one necessarily wants to be deemed or seen as lazy. We want to work hard, do all the things that we need to do, and never ever want anyone to call us lazy. But if we can just shift our mind to know that this rest that God is calling us towards and that surrender that God is calling us to do has absolutely nothing to do with laziness, but it's all about surrendering our entire being to God, and in essence letting Him have His way in our lives and letting Him take control. Because when it's all said and done, He knows the end from the beginning. So He already knows. He's already, working on, ordering our steps and letting us know, what path to take. Of course, we have free will, and He knows that too because He gave that. And so, but what I find so intriguing is even though we have free will, He still knows. He still knows what decisions we're going to make, good and bad, and what paths we're going to take to get to that final destination that He is predestined for us. So it's going to behoove all of us to just release and relinquish all of those things that we're trying to have control over to God, and allowing Him to be that difference in our lives and make those moves that need to be made. So until next time, God bless you.